Norman, I understand that the focus of the international media has shifted from Iran towards Greenland. This is coming in because Donald Trump has imposed another 10% tariff on the nations that are unsupportive of the Western Hemisphere, unsupportive of Donald Trump's expansionist plans. I want to begin with Norman. What are the latest from Washington, D.C.?
Greetings and good morning from Washington, D.C. Uh, as the news has stated, the United States has imposed a tariff on right now 8 European countries that has stated that they do not support the United States process of the annexation or the takeover of Greenland. Uh, so right now there will be a 10% tariff imposed on these countries. Uh, Actually, all of these countries are member of NATO and allies of the United States currently. He has stated that if it's not resolved and they do not have a support in June, by June, the tariffs will go up to 25%. So this is creating a lot of headache, a lot of discussions within our Congress and also with our partners and allies in Europe. So here we go. We're waiting to see exactly the next big move.
He was hearing Mr. Abdul Bari in the studio. There is something I want to draw a contrast as well. A bipartisan U.S. congressional delegation, including Senators Chris Coons and Lisa Murkowski, recently visited Copenhagen and Greenland just to support the fact that they do not see eye to eye with Donald Trump's plans for annexation of Greenland. On the other side, there are some adverse reactions coming out from those in Europe. Of course, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says that Trump's threat is completely wrong, while French President Emmanuel Macron calls it unacceptable. So these are the comments that are coming out as of latest. I want to understand how you felt even after that. Some senators do not meet eye to eye, and they have already taken the step of traveling to Greenland to reinforce these ties between the nations. I want to understand how you felt about it.
Thank you for the question. The president and his administration has made a decision to pursue the acquisition of Greenland. Congress, the European partners, NATO, and largely the world will not have any impact on his decision. This is right now is a process right now on when, where, and how. Diplomacy is being applied. Uh, as you know, this is a transactional administration, so the finances being ready to be applied to this. But his number one goal right now is the acquisition of Greenland. And yes, militarily, uh, it has a strategic location. As he stated, the Golden Dome is critical, and this location is critical for the application of the so-called Golden Dome security system. But more importantly, the minerals that this land is encased in uh, brings upon the Trump administration in terms of financing, in terms of global trade and whatever. It allows them to come independent of Chinese minerals and other things. So it will allow the United States to work as what we call a sphere of influence. A Western Hemisphere will not be relying on China, and they will not uh, be able. China would not be able to impose control over rare minerals that we need for the technology as we move forward.
One great.
Russia, in a sense, is the closest location to Russia in terms of military situations. And the United States feel that we need this location to secure our Western defenses, globally defenses. So at the same time, they are playing with the idea of NATO, the essence. As you may have seen in the news, there's this we call border peace. If you
Right.
notice, Friday, the composition is comprised of mostly of the United States people and several other countries. But you must note that what he is stating is that the goal is to provide peace and harmony in the area of Gaza, but also the rest of the world. So that is sense, if you interpret that, that is basically an alternative to the current United Nations model. So there's some conversations that we believe that the United States is moving towards its own called on peace board of peace that will replace or make the United Nations insignificant, more so symbolic in terms of impact. So things are happening. As my colleague stated, there's a strategic plan in place. Things are moving, and the movement is more towards a dominance for the United States globally in terms of how we do things in the Western Hemisphere, but also impacting through tariffs and other financial ways, how do we can control the rest of the world.
Very first, the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, had visited Xi Jinping of China, and of course, it was the first from ever since 2017. And this time around, they did talk about Canadian agricultural products like canola and allowing of a quota of Chinese electronic vehicles into Canada. Of course, this deal is trying to secure what kind of relationship the two nations are going to have. However, Canada is the nation that is neighboring United States of America, and there was talks and there's still trade tensions between the two sides. But Prime Minister Mark Carney seems to know how to ride this wave because he is very smart, and he is, of course, countering US President Donald Trump's every move regarding Canada. I want to ask this question to Norman Floyd Burns before I can come back to the studio. What is the significance of Mark Carney's visit in China and, of course, the reaction from the administration in America?
Yes, thank you. This is one of the we call outcomes of the tariffs, direct outcome of the tariffs. Since the United States imposed tariffs onto Canada and other countries in the world, the time now people are looking into themselves. What can we do regarding trade and commerce? Where are there alternatives? China is an alternative. So the conversation with China is one of a financial one. It shows that basically we are looking for other options. We are not totally dependent on the United States. And this is something that's going to resonate throughout the world in terms of commerce and other things. The tariffs has a immediate effect, but it's not a long-term solution. Other countries are looking for long-term solutions. They're looking for partners that will do them a what they call a deal that works for them, and they're not worried about this tariffs going up from 10, 15, 50% or whatever if you don't do what I say. So the word is out. Even the European Union is talking with South America, several countries there. They're talking with Brazil, Paraguay, other countries down there about doing trade deals outside of the United States, working with the United States. So the the narrative is changing. It's showing that basically we can work. Yes, we're part of the Western Hemisphere, but we can work with anybody. It's more of a multipolar world now, and we're going to work with who can work with us. And it may be the United States or it may be someone else, but we're not going to be dictated and controlled by one nation. Thank you.